Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wassalam ala Imam al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma arna al-haqqa haqqan wa razaqna ittiba'ah wa arna al-batila batilan wa razaqna ijtinaba. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this, another of our sittings. As it was advertised by the admins, we are now going to explain Surah Al Ghashiya. We are about to do the tafsir of Surah Al Ghashiya. Surah Al Ghashiya was revealed in Mecca. It has all the characteristics of the Meccan surahs. A surah that speaks about Tawheed rather than fiqh, because in Mecca Allah called to Tawheed and in Medina Allah called to fiqh, to Sharia. So the sunnah of Allah is to call to Tawheed in Dar al-Harb and to call for Sharia in Dar al-Islam. This is why it was easy for the brothers to implement Sharia in northern Mali, because it's a Muslim country. It was easy to take over northern Mali, an area bigger than France and Belgium put together. But to call for Sharia in Europe, this is insanity. You're supposed to call to Tawheed. This surah takes its name from the word which is mentioned in the first ayah, Ghashiya. Allah Ta'ala said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Hal ataka hadith al-Ghashiya, wujuhun yawma idhin khashi'a. Hasn't there come to you the narration of the overwhelming day? That day, which is called the overwhelming day, is Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yawm al-Qiyamah has many names. Yawm al-Qiyamah has over 50 names. One of the names for Yawm al-Qiyamah is Yawm al-Taghabun, the day of loss and gain. A gain for the Muslims, a great loss for the kuffar. Another name for Yawm al-Qiyamah is Yawm al-Hisab, the day of reckoning, because you have to stand in front of Allah and answer to Allah for all your deeds. It's called al-Hisab. Another name for Yawm al-Qiyamah is Yawm al-Khuruj, the day of coming out, because people will come out of their graves on that day. Another name for Yawm al-Qiyamah is Yawm al-Fasl. Allah said, Inna Yawm al-Fasli kana miqata, the day of decision, the day of sorting out. When you were in the dunya, you differ in regards to Aqidah and you differ in regards to fiqh. People differ between themselves in regards to Aqidah. You believe that Jesus was a prophet, the Christians say Jesus was God, or Jesus is God. That's the difference in Aqidah. You believe pork is haram, the Christians, they eat pork. It's their favorite meat, pork. And that is a fiqh issue. Whether or not it is halal to eat pork, it's a fiqh issue. So you differ in regards to fiqh. And you differ in regards to aqidah. And you differ in regards to manhaj. Manhaj means the methodology to establish the Islamic State. Some of you believe the manhaj is jihad. Some of you believe the manhaj is democracy. Vote. Just vote. Some of you, your manhaj is the ballot. Some of you, your manhaj is the bullet. So there's a tug of war between the manhaj of the ballot and the manhaj of the bullet. You differ in regards to fiqh, you differ in regards to aqidah, you differ in regards to manhaj. Allah will tell you on Judgment Day who is right and who is wrong. And because of that, Judgment Day is called Yawm al-Fasl. Inna Yawm al-Fasli kana miqata. The day of decision is fixed. It is called Yawm al-Ba'th, the day of resurrection. And as I told you before, Judgment Day has 50 different names. It is even called As-Sakha, the day of the first blowing. At-Tama al-Kubra, the day of the last blowing, the second blowing. It is also called Al-Haqqa, the reality. Judgment Day is called Al-Haqqa, the reality, the ultimate reality. Judgment Day has 50 names. Al-Ghashiya happens to be one of the many names for Judgment Day. Al-Ghashiya means the enveloping day. The punishment of Allah will envelope the kuffar and there is absolutely no escape for them. Judgment Day is also called Yawmuddin. Allah said, Maliki Yawmuddin, the day of the deen. All the religions will be there. Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, Jew, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic. All the religions will be there. That's why it is called Yawmuddin. Allah said, Maliki Yawmuddin, master of the day of judgment. We have covered the topic Judgment Day. You can ask the admins for the link and you listen to it on your own. We don't have time to go into the minute details of Judgment Day right now. My topic is the tafsir of Surah Ghashiya. Some faces on that day will be humiliated in the hellfire, like the faces of the Jews and the Christians and the Hindus and the Buddhists. And this humiliation took place in the grave. Judgment Day happens to be the second humiliation or the third humiliation. They have three types of humiliation. The kuffar, Allah said khashi'a. Some faces will be khashi'a. The first humiliation the kuffar will taste is defeat on the battlefield in the dunya at the hands of the mujahideen. The way the Russians were humiliated by the Afghans. That's the first humiliation the kuffar shall taste. The second humiliation is when they are questioned, interrogated by Munkar and Nakir in the grave, and they can't answer, and they'll be humiliated and punished in the grave. Ali said, we used to doubt the punishment of the grave, but when Allah revealed a surah, nobody doubted the punishment of the grave. If I'm speaking to you in private PM, and I said to you, the cousin of the Prophet Ali said we used to doubt the punishment of the grave, but when Allah revealed a surah, no Sahaba doubted the punishment of the grave. Which surah is that? Will you be able to answer my question in private PM? The surah that Allah revealed that dispels all doubts concerning the punishment of the grave is Surah Al Takathur Hatta Zurtumul Maqabir. After Allah revealed this surah, it's not halal for you to doubt the punishment of the grave anymore. If you doubt the punishment of the grave, you are doubting the Holy Quran, because Allah says Qabir, which means the grave. Amilatun Nasiba, laboring hard in the worldly life by worshipping others beside Allah, weary in the hereafter with humiliation and disgrace. So they are laboring hard in this worldly life by worshipping others beside Allah. They are also weary, Allah said, by chasing the dunya. So the kuffar are weary because they are busy with their life worshipping others beside Allah. I told you the biggest God in the world right now. I hope you did not miss the conference I did. The biggest deity in the world right now is the Benjamin, the $100 bill. That is the biggest deity in the world right now, the Benjamin. People apostate when they see the Benjamin, the $100 bill. Many people apostate when they see that false deity. They are no longer Muslims when they dangle the Benjamin in front of them. This is the plight of the Saudis. When they see the Benjamin, they obey America to the letter. And this is the plight of the Pakistanis. When they see the Benjamin, they take sides with America to destroy Afghanistan. They allow the American trucks to use their soil to transport weapons of mass destruction into Afghanistan to kill their Muslim brothers and sisters. Why did the Pakistanis do that? It's all about the Benjamin. When people see the Benjamin, they are not Muslims anymore. On the ground in Afghanistan, there are people who translate for the Americans. And by translating for them and working for them, you are ensuring the continuity of their occupation of a Muslim country. You are ensuring and you are sustaining the continuity of the occupation of a fellow Muslim country. So why do they work for them and spy for them and translate for them? It's all about the Benjamin. So you are thinking about Buddha being a false god and Jesus is a false deity. Ram, Sita, Hanuman, Hindu gods, they're false deities. But the biggest false deity, it slipped your mind because you didn't pay attention to fiqh al-waqi'. The Benjamin is bigger than Jesus. Why did you allow that false deity to slip your mind? A Muslim is supposed to be sharp, shrewd, and careful. What the Prophet said, a Muslim is sharp, shrewd, and careful. How can you allow the Benjamin, the biggest false deity, to slip your mind? You need to pay more attention to fiqh al-waqi'. The Chinese, they don't worship Jesus because they're communists. The Chinese don't worship Jesus, they're atheists, but they worship the Benjamin. The Hindus in India, they don't worship Jesus, they're Hindus, but they worship the Benjamin. The white people of Europe, most of them are atheists. They don't worship Jesus, but they worship the Benjamin. The Benjamin is bigger than Jesus. So Jesus is a false deity, yes. The Benjamin is a false deity, yes. But who is bigger? The Benjamin is far bigger than Jesus. And when you have a country and you want to import oil, you have to use Benjamin to buy the oil. You cannot use your local currency to buy oil. You have to pay for the oil with Benjamin. If you don't have any Benjamin, how are you going to buy the oil? You can't buy 1 barrel of oil without the Benjamin. Your country is going to grind to a halt. You are not a modern country. You have to go back to the Stone Ages. Because you don't have any oil to run your country, because you don't have any money to buy the oil. That's why the word petrodollar is used. Oil is traded with the Benjamin, not with your local currency. So when Allah Ta'ala said, Amilatun Nasiba, they are laboring hard in the dunya. They, the kuffar, they are laboring hard in the dunya. Amilatun Nasiba, worshipping false deities and chasing after the dunya. And this dunya is a prison for the believers, but a paradise for the kuffar. Tasla nar hamiyah. But in the end, they will be flung to the blazing fire. They are chasing after the dunya and they are tired, weary by worshipping false deities? Don't you know that when you stand in front of Allah, you have to answer 4 questions? One of them is, how did you exhaust your body? Did you exhaust your body with halal or with haram? This is one of the questions Allah will ask you. How you earn your money and how you spent the money. Your Islamic knowledge. Did you use your Islamic knowledge to guide the Ummah, or you use it to cement the thrones of the apostate leaders? Some sheikhs use their knowledge to guide the Ummah, others to cement the thrones of the apostate leaders. And your youth, that precious time in your life when you were in your 20s, your youth, how did you use your youth? And your body, how did you exhaust your body? You will not be able to enter paradise till you answer these questions to Allah. How did you exhaust your body? Did you exhaust your body jumping up and down in nightclubs, dancing, jumping up and down like the monkeys in the London Zoo? How did you exhaust your body? What did you use your body for? On Judgment Day, you have to give account for all the pleasures of the flesh. That's why Allah said, كَلَّا لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. I'm sure you know this surah. كَلَّا لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. On that day you'll be asked about Na'im. Na'im means pleasures of the flesh. Abu Barza al-Aslami reported that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, on the day of resurrection, the feet of a slave will not move till he is asked about his life, how he spent it, and about his knowledge, what he did with the knowledge, and about his wealth, how he earned the wealth and how he spent the wealth, and about his body, in what way he exhausted his body, how you wore it off. At-Tirmidhi and Ad-Darimi. Okay, shukran for bringing the hujjah. Shukran for finding the hujjah. This room is based upon hujjah. We don't give our own opinion. This is a room of hujjah. And some of my favorite students are coming to the class late. I don't know what's the problem. Maybe they have a doctor's appointment. Anyway, we continue with the shar. Not the shar. Shar is for hadith. For Quran we say tafsir. For Quran we say tafsir, and for hadith we say sharh. Shar is for hadith, but for Quran we say tafsir. So I never heard my Shaykh saying to me, we are going to do the shar of an ayah or a surah. That word didn't come from their mouth. We are going to do the shar of a surah. My Shaykh said we are going to do the shar of a hadith, and we are going to do the tafsir of an ayah, the tafsir of a surah. If somebody should explain the Quran but he did not give the proper explanation, it's not a tafsir. It's called a spin. He put a spin on the ayah. The ayah was spun out of context. So whenever a person explains the Quran and he didn't give the right explanation, interpretation of the ayah, it is not a tafsir, it's called a spin. The person put a spin on the ayah. The ayah was spun out of context. So Allah Ta'ala said, Amilatun Nasaba, these kuffar, they labor and they labor and they labor and they wore their body out by chasing the dunya and by worshipping false deities. A'udhu Billah. I've seen Hindus, they make huge temples to show. I've seen a huge temple in London made by the Hindus. So they spent their wealth for shirk. And some people travel far journeys to visit a shrine and to make tawaf around the shrine and to pray to the shrine. They exhaust their wealth and their bodies to go to this place for pilgrimage. And the Prophet said, you are only allowed to go to 3 places for pilgrimage: Makkah, Medina, and Jerusalem. Any other place you go as a pilgrim, you have done bid'ah. Tasla narun hami. Well, when I was in Turkey, I visited the grave of a Sahaba, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. His grave was in Turkey. But my intention of going to Turkey was not to visit a grave. I went there for business, to translate my book from English to Turkish. And then somebody said, a Sahaba grave was in Turkey, Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. And when I went there, I saw a huge crowd. People from all over the world came to see the grave. A huge crowd. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari was the Sahaba who looked after the Prophet when he migrated from Makkah to Medina. And he said, I will, because his house was big, I will live downstairs and you live upstairs. The Prophet said, I can't live upstairs because people are coming to me for their needs on a daily basis. If I live upstairs, I will inconvenience your family. It's better for me to live downstairs for the people to gain easy access to me. The Sahaba didn't want to live upstairs because he thinks it's appropriate to live on top of the Prophet, and the Prophet is downstairs. He thought it was disrespectful for him to live on top of the Prophet. So that's why he wanted to put the Prophet upstairs. But the Prophet objected and said, people are coming to me on a daily basis, therefore I need to be reached easily by the people. For me to live upstairs, I'll inconvenience your family. So he agreed for the Prophet to live downstairs, reluctantly. because he thought it was disrespectful for him to live on top of the Prophet. Also, when you are going out in a car, you should put the elder in front and the young person sit at the back. That's called Islamic manners. You put the older person in front to sit at the front of the car, and the child sit at the back, the younger person. It's called Islamic manners. Well, that's what I was told when I was in Saudi Arabia, that the old sit at the front of the car and the young sit at the back. That's what my sheikhs told me. It's called Islamic manners. Tasla naran hamia. You are chasing the dunya. You exhaust your body by worshipping false deities and by chasing after the dunya. But on Judgment Day, you will be flung to the blazing fire. Tusqa min aynin aniya. And when you are thirsty, you're going to be given boiling water to drink. Boiling water, that's your drink. You, the inhabitant of the hellfire, boiling water shall be your drink on the Day of Judgment. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ طَعَامٌ إِلَّا مِنْ ضَرِيعٍ. No food will they, the inhabitants of the hellfire, will have except poisonous thorny plant. Dari' la yusmin wa la yughni min ju', which will neither nourish nor avail them from hunger. A'udhu billah. So you are in the hellfire and you are hungry, and the food that is there, it cannot give you any nourishment nor save you from hunger. Wujuhun yawma idhin na'ima. Other faces on that day will be na'ima, joyful, cheerful. وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية, glad with their endeavor for their good deeds which they did in this world, along with the true faith of Islamic monotheism. So why will they be happy? Because they will be given the paradise. لسعيها راضية, and they are pleased with their efforts in the dunya, their efforts. Because of their efforts to practice the deen, they have now reaped the fruits of their labor. By them inheriting the paradise, they have reaped the fruits of their labor. Because when they were in the dunya and they wear hijab and niqab, people laugh at them and call them derogatory names. And when you used to pray salah, people used to tease you, pray for me, but they don't mean it. In their hearts, they don't mean it. And when you went for Hajj, they say, why did you waste your money going for Hajj? The sun is so hot there. And when you used to fast in Ramadan, people say, why do you starve yourself? It's not medically appropriate to fast a whole day because, according to biology, a man has to eat every 4 hours. So how can you fast? And they look for every reason and every excuse to tease you. Why do you marry so young at age 18? You have your life in front of you. Why? Marriage takes away your freedom. Why marry so young? Why don't you live your life first and have fun, then you get married? Every aspect of Islam that you practice, they tease you and laugh at you and ridicule you. And Allah told you in Surah Mutaffifin, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا كَانُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَضْحَكُونَ وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ. Verily, in the life of this world, those who disbelieve, they used to laugh at the people who believe, and when they pass by them, they would wink their eyes to tease them. They wink at each other to make a mockery. وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ وَإِذَا انقَلَبُوا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ انقَلَبُوا فَكِهِينَ. And when they go back to their homes, they used to talk about the believers. Guess what? I was in the town center today and I saw a ninja. I saw a ninja. They are laughing at the niqabi. Allah said when they go back to their families, they go back laughing and mocking and jeering and ridiculing. It is called smear, snare, and jeer. That's what the kuffar practice. The modus operandi of a kafir is smear, snare, and jeer. وَإِذَا رَأَوْهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَضَالُونَ. And when they see the believers, they say, these are dalun, they are astray. I beg your pardon, we are astray? Who is the one who's walking around with an uncircumcised penis? Who? Who is the one who eats pork? Who eats pork? Who is the one who says that Jesus is God and worship Jesus beside God as a second God? Who? Who is the one who is addicted to alcohol? Who is astray? You, the kafir, you're astray. You're so stupid. Such a brain-dead kafir, calling us astray. And we worship one God, Allah alone. We are the people of Tawheed. And Allah said, Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You are the best ummah that was raised up for the guidance of mankind. Surah 3, 110. Surah 3, 110. You, the Muslims, are the best ummah that was raised up for the guidance of mankind. Half the people of paradise will be from the ummah of Muhammad. So how can we be astray? Half the people of paradise will be from the ummah of Muhammad. But Allah Ta'ala said, on Judgment Day, the believers will laugh at the kuffar. We will have the last laugh. And then Allah said in the same surah, هَلْ ثُوِّبَ الْكُفَّارُ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. Isn't the kuffar being treated according to what they used to do in the dunya? And Allah was just with His justice. هَلْ ثُوِّبَ الْكُفَّارُ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. Aren't they, the kuffar, paid fully for what they used to do in the dunya, for the crimes they used to perpetrate in the dunya? So they will laugh at you in the dunya, but you will laugh at them in the akhirah, in the hereafter, and he who laughed last, laughed the best. Surah Mutaffifin. Surah Mutaffifin is Surah 83. So Allah Ta'ala said, لِسَاعِهَا رَادِيَةً. You will be delighted with your efforts in the dunya. Your efforts in the dunya cause you to inherit the paradise in the akhirah. This is what Allah meant when Allah said, لِسَاعِهَا رَادِيَةً. Sa' means you're struggling and you're toiling. And Allah told you in Surah Layl, Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Surah Layl. Did you memorize that surah? Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Man is diverse with his struggling and toiling. Everybody in the dunya is busy with something else. Everybody in the dunya has a different aim, a different objective. And because of that, Allah Ta'ala said, Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Surah Layl, Surah 92, verse 4. Allah said, your efforts are diverse. Your efforts are diverse. Surah 92, verse 4. Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Everybody is chasing something else in the dunya. Some people are chasing women, some people are chasing money, and everybody is chasing the money because without the money you can't get the woman. Some people, their aim and objective is the nightclub. Some people, all they care about is drugs. Some people, they are chasing a degree in a university. Well, that is a good chase. If you are chasing after a degree in a university, that is a good chase. Because then it means you are now qualified with your degree and you can make hijrah and leave behind Darul Harb. So to be chasing a degree in a university, that's a good chase. But Allah said, Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Man is diverse with his different aims and objectives, the different things in life that he's chasing after. لِسَعِهَا رَادِيَةً. Let me remind you that even though you will be pleased with the efforts, Allah said, you are pleased with your efforts because your efforts in the dunya cause you to inherit the paradise. Some of you will inherit Firdaus because you die on the battlefield. Let me remind you that nobody can enter paradise because of his righteous deeds, because we sin by night and by day. No one can enter paradise based on his righteous deeds. So how will we enter paradise? We will enter paradise by the mercy of Allah. Only by the mercy of Allah we can enter the paradise, not based on our pious deeds because we sin by night and by day. I tell you a sin that we commit every day, the sin of backbiting. The sin of backbiting, we commit that sin every day. I don't like my neighbor's dog. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet said, do good deeds properly and sincerely and moderately and receive good news, because one's good deeds will not make him enter paradise. They asked, even you, O Messenger of Allah? He said, even I, unless and until Allah bestows His mercy, His pardon and mercy on me. Do you understand the hadith now? You can't enter paradise because of your pious deeds, because you are too sinful to enter paradise based upon your pious deeds. So how will we enter paradise? The Prophet said, by the mercy of Allah. So don't entertain the idea that you can come on Judgment Day and use your deeds as a bargaining to enter paradise. Your deeds by itself cannot make you enter paradise. You need the mercy of Allah to enter the paradise. I hope you understand the point I am making. Fi jannatin aliyah, in lofty paradise. Verse number 10, Fi jannatin aliyah, in lofty paradise. Nothing in the dunya is similar to what is in paradise. Nothing in paradise is similar to what is in the dunya, only by name. So take for example the women of paradise. The women of paradise, they don't menstruate. The women in the dunya, they menstruate. And if a wife menstruates for 10 days, it's very frustrating for the husband, for you to wait 10 days before you can go to bed with your wife. Some men, when they have a sit down, they ask the sister how many days you menstruate for. If she says 10 days, you never marry her. If she says 5 days, marry her. 10 days, oh my God, 10 days. I'm sorry, I can't marry the sister. The women in paradise, they don't menstruate. The women in the dunya, they menstruate. Some of them menstruate for 10 days. Very, very frustrating for a husband. In paradise, there is no urination and there is no defecation. There is no bleeding after childbirth. No bleeding after childbirth. When the Prophet said there is no defecation, they said, how will we get rid of the human waste? The Rasul said, you will burp And by you burping, that is how you get rid of the human waste. How can you have a toilet in paradise? That is totally inappropriate. So how will we get rid of the human waste? By burping, just a belch. Just by burping, you will get rid of the human waste. In paradise, there is no beard. The men in paradise are so handsome. There is no beard. Why do you think men shave their beard in the dunya? Because they want to look like the men of paradise. There is no beard in paradise. In paradise, the clothing is silk, and you will wear silk and gold in paradise, but not in the dunya. It is haram for men to wear gold and silk in the dunya. You will wear that in paradise, not in the dunya. Women are allowed to wear gold and silk. Only Albani said gold is haram for women. Albani went against the ijma of the ummah by saying gold is haram for women. Gold is halal for women, but haram for men. In paradise, you'll enjoy the most delicious of food. Did you know that banana is one of the fruits of paradise? The banana. Did you know that the pomegranate is one of the fruits of paradise? You can get rich just by having a banana farm. It's one of the fruits of paradise. In paradise, you'll get the best of food and the most delicious of drink. In paradise, there is a river of milk, a river of honey, a river of wine, and a river of water. There is wine in paradise. This is why you need to know. You can't think. Because if you think, you will say there is no wine in paradise. But there are 4 rivers in paradise. Surah Muhammad verse 15. مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون فيها أنهار من ماء. The description of the paradise which the believers are promised, there is a river from water. The taste and smell which doesn't go off. The taste and smell doesn't go off. If the water has a foul smell, you cannot use that water. It is called najis. The water is najis. And we covered water when we did the bulug maram, and we are still doing bulug al maram. Some water is contaminated. The water in paradise, it's impossible for that water to become contaminated. وَأَنْهَارٍ مِّن لَبَنٍ لَمْ يَتَغَيَّرْ طَعْمُهُ. And there's another river from milk, and milk is very nourishing. Milk is very nourishing. A river from milk of which the taste doesn't change. Some milk, the milk of the dunya, sometimes you have to throw it away. Some milk you have to throw it away because the milk is gone off. I forgot to put the milk in the refrigerator, so the milk, I can't use it to make tea anymore or to make porridge. I have to throw the milk away because I forgot to put the milk in the refrigerator. The milk in paradise, it doesn't go off. It's always fresh. You don't need a refrigerator in paradise. Refrigerator is something of the dunya. In paradise, you don't need a refrigerator to keep your food fresh. Because Allah told you in Surah Muhammad that the milk in paradise, laban lam yataghayyar ta'muhu. It doesn't go off. And then Allah said, وَأَنْهَارٍ مِّنْ خَمْرٍ لَذَّ لِلشَّارِبِينَ. A river of wine, delicious to those who drink the wine. وَأَنْهَارٍ مِّنْ عَسَلٍ مُصَفَّى. Another river is from pure honey. The honey in the dunya, men, they mix it with molasses, with sugar, to stretch it. That's how they cheat you. When you buy a bottle of honey in the dunya, the men are so evil, they mix it with molasses, with sugar, to stretch the honey, because they want to make more money. So they stretch it. And sometimes they make water in the milk to stretch it, because they want to, it's all about money. It's all about the Benjamin. They want to stretch it. But the honey in paradise is not mixed with molasses, with sugar. Honey is pure. The honey in paradise is pure. It's not mixed with any foreign bodies. It's pure honey. Now, why is it that there's wine in paradise? The wine in paradise, it doesn't make you drunk. It doesn't make you do not become intoxicated with the wine in paradise. And those who drink the wine in the dunya will never drink the wine in paradise. And those who drink the wine in the dunya, they have no salah for 40 days and 40 nights. If you drink the wine in the dunya, you have no salah for 40 days and 40 nights. Bring me the hadith. I think I read it in Musnad Ahmad. One of my students is in Makkah. He rang me. He said he's bringing back a CD with all the books of the classical scholars. He's bringing back for me a CD with all the books of the classical scholars. Abdallah ibn Masud reported that Allah's Messenger said, if anyone drinks wine, then his salah over 40 days are not approved. If he repents, then Allah will relent to him. If he reverts to it, then Allah will not approve his salah over 40 days. If he repents, Allah will relent to him. But if he reverts to it, then Allah will not approve his salah for over 40 days. If he repents, then Allah will relent to him. Again, if he reverts to the 4th time, Allah will not approve his salah for 40 days. And if he repents, then Allah will not relent to him, and he will give him a drink from the river of Khabar. Someone asks, "Oh, Abu Abdurrahman, what is the river of Khabar?" He said, "The pus of the dwellers of the people of the hellfire." So if you drink the wine in the dunya, you will drink pus in the hereafter. And how can you drink pus? Well, you deserve it because you drank wine in the dunya. You are not allowed to have wine as a weakness, alcohol as a weakness, or crack cocaine or heroin. Or casino, or girls. You're not allowed to have any weaknesses. You need to fear Allah and give up your weaknesses, because these weaknesses will destroy you, both in this life and in the hereafter. And the weaknesses cause you to have no money left, because you need to spend money for your addictions. A Muslim is not allowed to be addicted to anything. If you are addicted to your wife, that is fine, because your wife is halal for you. But to be addicted to something which is haram, that's not acceptable. Especially if you're a da'i, inviting people to Islam. You cannot have an addiction, because you have to practice what you preach. So fear Allah and abstain from addictions. في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية. When the believers are in paradise, they won't hear any rubbish talk, empty talk. So what is laghia? Laghia is empty talk. Laghia is empty talk, rubbish talk, harmful speech. So any speech which is harmful, it is called laghia. Or you talk rubbish. The Americans call it bull something. I'm too shy to tell you what the Americans call it. The Arabs call it kalam fadi. Kalam fadi means rubbish talk. In paradise, there is no laghia, because the people of paradise, they are pious. There is no haram in paradise, not even laghia, empty talk, rubbish talk. And you are not allowed to sit with people. All they do is to backbite others. Didn't you hear about this one? Didn't you hear about this sister? Didn't you hear about that brother? That's all they talk about every day. Don't allow your wife to sit with these people. Then your wife, her name will get mixed up in backbiting. The bad consequences of the tongue. The Prophet said, what will topple you over in the hellfire the most is the bad harvest of the tongue. And the Prophet said, if you can protect your tongue and your private parts, I guarantee for you the paradise. Because these two organs are very difficult to control, your tongue and your private parts. Especially if the person has a high libido. If you have a high libido, it's difficult to control your private parts. The Prophet Mu'adh ibn Jabal, what topples people on their faces the most in the hellfire is the bad harvest of the tongue. And Allah told you in Surah Nisa, verse 114, لا خير في كثير من نجواهم من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس. There is no good in most of their secret talks, save him who orders sadaqah. Nisa 114. No good there is in their secret talks. In their secret talks, it's all about backbiting and slandering. Except those who order sadaqah, or ma'ruf, goodness, or islah bain an-nas, or he who uses his tongue to make peace between people, to reconcile people. You need to use your tongue. The tongue is more dangerous than an atomic bomb. The tongue is more dangerous than an atomic bomb. When I was in Kenya, they took me into custody. They said, you violated your visa by preaching. Why did your study group jump from 300 to 3,000 in 1 week? The Kenyan to me. Why your study group jumped from 300 to 3,000 in just 1 week? And those who attend your group to listen to you, they are the radical elements of the Kenyan society. Did you come to Kenya to destabilize the government? That's what a Kenyan said to me. So according to the Kenyans, the tongue of Shaykh Faisal is very, very dangerous, because people flock to his study circles to listen to him, and it jumped from 300 to 3,000 in 1 week, and it's only radical Muslims go to listen to him, people who are sympathetic to jihad ideas. The tongue can be used for good or for bad, and the Prophet said every good word is a charity. Every good word is a charity. If every good word is a charity, that means every evil word is a sin. It's better you say good thing to your Muslim brothers and sisters than to say bad things. Every good word is a charity. You can say one good word to a Muslim brother or sister, and that good word change their life forever for the better. Don't underestimate the power of the tongue. You can say one good word to your Muslim brother or your Muslim sister, and that one good word transform their life forever for the better. Never underestimate the power of the tongue. What did Iblis say to Adam? Ya Adam, hal adulluka ala shajarat al-khuld wa mulkin la yubla. O Adam, shall I not lead you to a tree? If you eat from the tree, you will rule over a kingdom that will never perish, and you will never die. You'll be like the angels, you'll never die. And the shaitan was very courteous with his words when he was speaking to Adam, and he said, Wallahi, I'm speaking the truth. Adam, the scholars say, was naive. He didn't expect a person to say Wallahi and lie. Many of you are naive. You go to the marketplace and the computer is a Dell and it's fake, made in Hong Kong, not original Dell. And the person say Wallahi, it's original. And because the person say Wallahi, you bought the Dell. You're so naive. You don't know people say Wallahi and lie. The Dell is fake, made in Hong Kong, not original. And he sold you for the price of original. Why are you so naive? Don't you know people say Wallahi and lie? Don't forget the tongue is dangerous. And Allah told you in Surah 63. Surah 63 is the surah where one of the surahs Allah exposed the munafiqun. Surah 63 verse 2. اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله إنهم ساء ما كانوا يعملون. Surah 63 verse 2, Allah said, not the kuffar, the hypocrites, they hide behind Wallahi. That's how they trap you, that's how they trick you, that's how they get you in their web. Surah 63 verse 2, what Allah say? اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة. The munafiqun, they hide behind Wallahi. And this is how they trick the believers. Surah 63 verse 2. اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة. So be careful of people say, Wallahi, 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 Wallahi. The shaitan did it to Adam. He said, Wallahi, I'm speaking the truth. If you eat from that tree, you will never die. You'll be like the angels. But where is Adam now? Adam is dead, long gone. So that Wallahi was fake. Who is Quranic verse? Could you undot, is 85 in the room? Could you undot Fatayat, Tawheed to bring the ayahs and Tilmida to bring the ayahs? When I quote an ayah, I expect to see it within 5-6 seconds on the screen. Could you undot Tilmida and Fatayat al-Tawheed to bring the ayahs? You can undot Abdallah as well to bring the ayahs. Where is the admin who's supposed to undot? Okay, shukran. When I quote an ayah, I expect to see the ayah. Could you undot Fatayat Tawheed to bring the ayahs? Anyway, we continue with our tafsir. And please Google the ayah. When I quote an ayah, I want you to write in Surah 63 2. That's how you Google the ayah, Surah 63 verse 2. And you copy and paste the ayah, and do not be slow so that I don't need to start yelling and shouting. Where is the ayah? I don't need to start yelling and shouting. So don't be slow in posting the ayah. وُجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاعِمَةٌ لِسَائِهَا رَادِيَةٌ. The believers, the ayah I want is Surah 63 verse 2, where Allah said the munafiqun, they hide behind Wallahi. They say Wallahi, 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 and lie. The faces of the believers will be full of joy and delight. They will be pleased with their efforts. Okay, yes, they have taken their oaths as a cover. They hide behind Wallahi. So they averted people from the way of Allah. Indeed, it was evil that they were doing. Yes, it was evil for them to hide behind Wallahi and tell lies. لِسَاعِهَا رَادِيَةٌ. The believers are pleased with their efforts. Their efforts cause them to enter the paradise. في جنة عالية. They will be in lofty paradise. لا تسمع فيها لاغية. You won't hear any لاغية, any empty talk, rubbish talk in paradise. The Americans call it bull something. Rubbish talk, empty talk. That doesn't exist in paradise. فيها عين جارية. Therein will be running spring. There is a spring called Salsabil in paradise. There are rivers in paradise and there are springs in paradise. There's a river called Tasneem in paradise. As for those who want to know about the description of paradise, you can ask the admin to bring the link. I have already described paradise in details for you in this room. Some of you were not here. Maybe I need to repeat the topic. I don't know why you were not here when I described paradise in details. فيها سرر مرفوعة. Therein will be thrones raised high. وأكواب موضوعة. And cups set at hand. And there will be young boys serving the believers with cups. The kids of the kuffar who died before puberty will become servants for the believers in paradise. Bring me the hadith. The kids of the kuffar who died before puberty will become servants for the believers in paradise. And these servants in paradise who serve the believers, they are like lu'lu, they're like pearls. Surah 76 verse 19. Okay, bring me Surah 76 verse 18 to 19. Because Allah speaks about the springs of paradise. Okay, bring me Surah 76 verse 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Surah 76 verses 15 to 20, or 21. Surah 76 verse 15 to 21. Surah 76 verse 15 to 21. The reason why I'm bringing these verses is because we are talking about the paradise. And the reason why I'm bringing these verses is because Allah spoke about springs in paradise. So I'm going to tell you some of the springs in paradise. And the reason why I'm bringing these verses is because Allah Ta'ala told you about akwab, cups that will be used to serve the believers in paradise. We are explaining Surah Al Ghashiya, Surah 88 of the Holy Quran. So Allah Ta'ala said, طَافْ عَلَيْهِمْ بِآنِيَةٍ مِنْ فِدَّةٍ وَأَكْوَابٍ كَانَتْ قَوَارِيرًا. And amongst them will be passed round vessels of silver and cups of crystal. قَوَارِيرَ مِنْ فِدَّةٍ قَدَّرُوهَا تَقْدِيرًا. Crystal clear, made of silver, they will determine the measure thereof according to their wishes. وَيَسُوقُونَ فِيهَا كَأْسًا كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا زَنْجَبِيلًا. And there will be given a drink of wine mixed with ginger. Anytime the word ka's is used, cup in the Quran, it means wine. Who said that? Ibn Abbas. So Allah Ta'ala said, in paradise you will have a cup with wine mixed with ginger, zanjabil. Aynan fiha tusamma salsabila. And there is another spring in paradise called salsabil. Who is bringing the ayah I asked for? Salsabil, that is another spring in paradise. وَيَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ إِذَا رَأَيْتُهُمْ حَسِبْتُهُمْ لُؤْلُؤًا مَنْثُورًا. And around them will be served boys of everlasting youth. These boys don't become old, everlasting youth. If you see them, you would think they are scattered pearls. These boys are so handsome in paradise that serve our servants. They are like scattered pearls, Allah Ta'ala said. And when you look therein in paradise, you will see delights that cannot be imagined and a great dominion. The things that Allah has prepared for the believers in paradise, it's impossible for a human being to use his mind to imagine these things. You just have to wait until you get there. And amongst them will be passed around vessels of silver, goblets of crystal. Okay, bring me ayah 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And bring me ayah 22 as well. It will be said to them, إِنَّ هَذَا كَانَ لَكُمْ جَزَاءً وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا. This wonderful paradise that we have given you, it is a reward for you because of your endeavor, your efforts in the dunya. And Allah accepted your effort. Allah is grateful and thankful for your efforts. Sa'yukum mashkura, your efforts is appreciated by Allah. So the word sa' is being mentioned 10 times in the Quran. And you will be rewarded according to your efforts in the hereafter. If your efforts in the dunya was good, you will be given the paradise. If your effort was for evil things, you'll be given the hellfire. Ya ibadi innama hiya a'malukum uhsiha lakum thumma awafikum iyyaha. O my servants, it is your deeds that are reckoned and I recompense you for your deeds. Faman wajada khayran falyahmadillah. Anybody who sees good, let him say alhamdulillah. فَمَنْ وَجَدَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ فَلَا يَلُومَنَّ إِلَّا نَفْسَهُ. And anyone who finds evil, let him blame no one except himself. It's your deeds that I look at and recompense you for your deeds. If you find good, say Alhamdulillah. If you find evil, blame no one except yourself. Salsabil, that is one of the spring of paradise. لَا تَسْمَعُ فِيهَا لَاغِيَةً فِيهَا عَيْنٌ جَارِيَةٌ فِيهَا سُرُرٌ مَرْفُوعَةٌ. And around them will be served youths of perpetual freshness. These youths don't become old. The Prophet told a woman, there is no old people in paradise. She was devastated. There is no old people in paradise. She was devastated. The Prophet called the woman back and said, now you're old. When you enter paradise, you will be young and you will be forever young. And then she was happy. Old age by itself. People hate old age. Who's going to accept the proposal of a 60-year-old woman? Who? People hate old age. Who will accept the proposal of a 70-year-old woman? And when thou look, it is there that will see a bliss. Upon them will be green garments of fine silk and heavy brocade, and they will be adorned with bracelets of silver. And their Lord will give to them to drink wine pure and holy. Verily, this is a reward for you for your efforts in the dunya. Your efforts, your endeavor is accepted and recognized and appreciated. Okay, shukran, I don't need any more ayahs to be posted yet. So here I've brought you verses of the Quran that describe for you the paradise. And Allah Ta'ala said, you are given the paradise because your efforts, your endeavor is accepted, recognized, and appreciated. فِيهَا عَيْنٌ جَارِيَةٌ فِيهَا سُرُرٌ مَرْفُوعَةٌ. Therein will be thrones raised high. وَأَكْوَابٌ مَوْضُوعَةٌ. And cups set at hand. وَنَمَارِكُ مَصْفُوفَةٌ. And cushions set in rows. وَزَرَابِيَّ مَبْثُوثَةٌ. And rich carpets all spread out. So whenever you go to a person's house and they have a expensive, they have an expensive Persian rug in their sitting room. That is prestige for them, to have a Persian rug, a beautiful Persian rug, a carpet in their sitting room. That is expensive, that is prestige. And for you to have cushions, pillows and cushions that are expensive. And the purpose of the cushion and the pillows is for comfort. To sleep without a pillow is very, very uncomfortable. So the purpose of the cushions is for comfort. The purpose of the carpets is for prestige. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Don't they look at the camels, how they are created? Look at this wonderful and marvelous creation of man, the camels. The camel is called the ship of the desert. The camel is able to travel many days without drinking water. How can you be in the desert not drinking water for many days? That's the camel. Are you trying to tell me the world came about by an accident? Why is it that in the desert there is an animal called the camel, and the camel is conducive to the desert heat, and the camel can travel many days without drinking water? If the world came about by an accident, how comes there is in the desert the camel that is conducive to that desert atmosphere, that weather, that harsh weather? If the world came about by an accident, the camel would have ended up in some cold country like Scandinavia, in Greenland. But the camel is situated in the desert, and the weather of the desert is conducive to the camel. The camel is conducive to that weather. So what do you mean the world came about by an accident? Animals are situated in countries that are suitable for them. The polar bear is in the icy regions of the world. The South Pole, the North Pole, the polar bear. The lion is on the plains of Africa. The tiger is in the jungle. And animals are situated in regions of the world that is conducive to them for their survival. So if the world came about by accident, the Big Bang, a big accident, how do you explain that animals are to be found in regions of the world that is conducive to them? And the only reason why you have tigers in Africa is because the white man took them there. Because the white man is very busybody. He likes to interfere. Anytime you find animals in regions of the world that they never existed before, the white man took them there. The white man took foxes to Australia because fox hunting is his hobby and he can't leave out fox hunting. To transport one animal to another part of the world, and Allah didn't put them there, it can be dangerous because you interfere with the ecosystem of the world. So animals are situated in parts of the world that are conducive for their own survival, to ensure the continuity of the species. So Allah said, look at the camel, how it is created. The camel is a ship of the desert. It can travel through the desert for many, many days without drinking water. Are you trying to tell me that is not from the wisdom of Allah? How could you be so negligent about Allah's wisdom? You use the camel every day to go from one part of the Arabian Peninsula to another. You use the camel to go to Yemen in the winter and Syria in the summer. لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف فليعبدوا رب هذا البيت الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. By the tradition of the Quraysh, the culture of the Quraysh. What is your culture? You go to Yemen in Shita, winter, and you go to Syria in Saif, the summer. Shita is winter and Saif is summer. What took you there? The camel. These are very far journeys, 1 month journey from Mecca to Syria, 1 month journey. The camel took you to these far places, and the camel is able to travel through the desert for many days without drinking water. Look at this wonderful and marvelous creation of man. How could it slip your mind that this is a barakah from Allah? That's why Allah said, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Why don't you praise me for creating the camel that you used to go through the desert for your trading trips? Why do you pray to Lat, Uzza, Hubal, Manat? They are wooden stones. What can they do for you? These wooden stones that you are worshipping instead of Allah, what did they do for you? And Allah Ta'ala asked you that question in Surah Luqman. What did they create for you? These things that you are worshipping, tell me, what did they create for you? Surah 31 verse 11. هذا خلق الله فأروني ماذا خلق الذين من دونه بل الظالمون في ضلال مبين. Surah 31 verse 11. This is the wonderful and marvelous creation of Allah. Show me what did Lat, Uzza, Hubal, Manat create for you. Show it to me. Where is it? What did they create for you? That's the question Allah is asking in Surah Luqman. This is the wonderful and marvelous creation of Allah. The sun, the moon, the stars, the horses that you use to fight your battles. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ دَبْحًا. The camels that you use to go from one part of the world to another. You go to Yemen in Shita, winter, and you go to Syria in Saif, the summer. And you became rich from your trading. لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. And you use my camel that I create to get rich. And you use your horses for your battles. This is the wonderful creation of Allah. Allah is saying, these things that you are worshipping, Lat, Uzza, Hubal, Manat, show me what did they create for you. They are only wooden stones. So show me what did they create for you. How ungrateful man is. He shunned Allah who has created for him all these things and worship wooden stones that can't create anything for him. And Allah used Tawheed Rububiyyah to establish Tawheed Ibadah. What did Allah do? Allah used Tawheed Rububiyyah, that Allah is the only creator, to establish Tawheed Ibadah. Since Allah is the only creator, Allah alone deserves Ibadah, worship. So Allah Ta'ala is appealing to the common sense of the Arabs. Look at the camel. Such a wonderful creation of Allah, the camel. Why don't you thank Allah for the camel and stop worshipping wooden stones? Lat Uzza, Hubal, Manat. So Allah said, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. And the heavens, how it is raised high. Do you look at the heavens? What is in the heavens? The sun, the moon, and the stars. Have you ever seen how the stars are beautifully displayed in the sky? What is in the heaven? The sun, the moon, and the stars. Haven't you seen the stars? How they are beautifully displayed in the sky. What a beauty. And the purpose of the stars is for three reasons. To guide you at night on your journeys, to beautify the heavens, and to stone the shaitan. The stars, they are missiles that are used to stone the shaitan. The shooting stars. Allah shoot down the shayateen, the jinns, with the stars. These are the three reasons Allah Ta'ala created the stars. Haven't you seen the heaven? How beautiful the heavens is. The sun, the moon, and the stars. These are wonderful creation of Allah, and they are in the heavens, above your head, for you to adore and to take lesson from. And Allah told you in Surah 41, Surah Fussilat, verse 37. Surah 41, verse 37. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ اللَّيْلُ وَالنَّهَارُ وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرُ لَا تَسْجُدُوا لِلشَّمْسِ وَلَا لِلْقَمَرِ وَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُنَّ إِن كُنتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. And from among his signs are the night and the day, and the sun and the moon. Prostrate yourselves not to the sun nor the moon, but prostrate yourself to Allah and Allah alone, if you are truthful to your claim that you worship Allah. So Allah is saying, don't take the heavens for granted. I've created the heavens, don't take it for granted. Don't take the sun, the moon, and the stars for granted. These are my wonderful creations. وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ. And look at the mountains, how they are rooted and fixed firm. Ayah 19, look at the mountains. Huge, tall, massive mountains. Gigantic mountains. I was in Tanzania recently. There's a mountain there called the Kilimanjaro. The Kilimanjaro. In Tibet, there's another mountain, Mount Everest. You have the Himalayas, the Alps. The purpose of these huge, gigantic mountains that you see is they are used as pegs to keep the earth still. Ibn Kathir said when Allah created the earth, it started to wobble. And then Allah created huge, gigantic mountains to make the earth remain still. It doesn't wobble anymore. So if I speak to you in private PM and ask you a question, why did Allah create the mountains? The mountains are used as pegs to keep the earth still so the earth doesn't wobble. وَالْجِبَالَ أَرْسَاهَا. Allah Ta'ala speak about the Jibal. وَالْجِبَالَ أَرْسَاهَا. That these huge, gigantic mountains that you see and you are impressed with these mountains. The purpose of these mountains is to keep the earth still so that it doesn't wobble. Surah 79, verse 32. Allah told you in Surah 79, verse 32, the mountains are used to keep the earth still. And the mountains that are fixed firm. Surah 79, verse 32. And the mountains he has fixed firmly. وَالْجِبَالَ أَرْسَاهَا. The purpose of the mountains is to keep the earth still so that the earth doesn't wobble. That is the purpose of the mountains. To keep the earth still so that the earth doesn't wobble. The mountains are pegs. People are mesmerized by mountains. They climb the Kilimanjaro and they take pictures and hang it up in their living room. Look at me on top of this summit. That's Kilimanjaro. I conquered Kilimanjaro. They climb Mount Everest and they take pictures. Look at me on top of Mount Everest. I conquered Mount Everest when I was 20 years old. And people are mesmerized with mountains. I conquered that mountain. I conquered this mountain. Look at me. That's my picture. And they are proud of their achievement. And they hang the picture in their living room to show to everybody who comes to their house as a guest. I conquered Mount Everest. Even though it is 29,000 feet, I was able to reach the top. Many people died trying to conquer mountains. Many people died trying to conquer mountains. It's very fascinating to conquer a mountain, to be on the summit of a mountain. It's very fascinating. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a proud feeling. The man who first conquered Mount Everest, Edmund Hillary of Australia, he is a national hero in Australia. I don't even know if he's still alive. Edmund Hillary, the Australian, he put Australia on the map by conquering Mount Everest. He is their national hero. Why? Because he was the first man to conquer Mount Everest. Edmund Hillary and his friend from Tibet. These two men are national heroes because they conquered a mountain, the tallest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. In every encyclopedia, his name is mentioned, Edmund Hillary. It's impossible for you to see an encyclopedia and his name is not in the encyclopedia. What is so special about him? He conquered a mountain, Mount Everest. And he was the first man to conquer Mount Everest. So people are fascinated by mountains. And Allah spoke about mountains in Surah Al Ghashiya. Look at these mountains, how they are fixed firm. These mountains are used by pegs to keep the earth still. So when you walk along the earth doesn't wobble. The earth doesn't wobble when you walk along the earth. وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. And look at the earth, how it is spread out. سُطِحَتْ. Look how the earth is stable. فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُذَكِّرْ. So remind men, O Muhammad, because you are only a reminder. فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُذَكِّرْ. Ayah 21. Give the admonition because that's your job. Don't think about making somebody a Muslim. Only I, Allah, can make Muslim. If you could make people become Muslims, your uncle Abu Talib would have taken the Shahada, but he died a kafir. So your job is to give the dawah and you leave the rest to Allah. And because of that, Allah said in Surah Yasin, verse 17, وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَى الْبَلَاغِ الْمُبِينِ. Surah Yasin is Surah 36, verse 17. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَى الْبَلَاغِ الْمُبِينِ. Your job is to give the message and leave the rest to Allah. And give the message in a clear manner, mubin. As for making people Muslim, leave that to Allah. Allah will make Muslims. Allah said, إِنَّكَ لَا تَحْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You cannot guide to Islam those who you like, only me, Allah can guide. إِنَّكَ لَا تَحْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ. And our duty is only to proclaim the message clear. Yes. Surah Yasin, verse 17. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَى الْبَلَاغِ الْمُبِينِ. Our message is clear, and that is our job, to give the da'wah. As for making Muslims, we leave that to Allah. Allah guides whom He wills. Surah Qasas, Surah 28, verse 56. Surah 28, verse 56. What did Allah say? When the uncle of the Prophet died a kafir and the Prophet was devastated, what did Allah say? إِنَّكَ لَا أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You cannot guide to Islam who you want to guide, O Muhammad, only me, Allah can guide. You cannot guide those who you like, only me, Allah can guide. Only Allah can make Muslims, you can't make Muslims. That is the reality. Allah has each and everybody's heart between His two fingers. He turns the heart as He wishes. And because Allah is the turner of hearts, the Prophet said, Allahumma bisarf al-qulub sarf qulubana ala ta'atik ya muqallib al-qulub thabit qulubana ala dinik. Oh Allah, you are the turner of heart, turn our hearts towards your ta'ah, your obedience. Oh Allah, you are the one who gives strength to the heart, so strengthen our hearts on your deen. Surah 28, verse 56. It is true that we guide everyone. It is true thou will not guide, you will not be able to guide everyone whom you love, but Allah guides whom He wills, and He knows best those who receive the guidance. Allah revealed this ayah, Surah 28, verse 56, when the Prophet's uncle Kafir, Abu Talib, and that ayah was to comfort the Prophet. Only Allah can guide. Your job is to give the da'wah, and Allah will take care of the rest. If you could guide, all your family members will be Muslims. Everybody has a Kafir in his family. Everybody. Even born Muslims have kuffar in their family, because some of your family members apostated. If you could guide people, nobody in your family would be a kafir, because it's embarrassing to have a kafir in your family. Very, very embarrassing. If you could guide people to Islam, nobody in your family would be on drugs. Nobody in your family would be drinking alcohol. Nobody in your family would be a prostitute. You have all these things in your family. A person who is committing zina is a prostitute. You have all these people in your family, prostitutes and drug addicts. All of you, even a first or second cousin. Because only Allah Ta'ala can guide to Islam. Your job is to give the message. 2 prophets had kafir wives, Prophet Noah and Prophet Lut. 2 prophets have kafir wives, Prophet Noah and Prophet Lut. Why? Because only Allah can guide. Your job is to give the message. And you can't give da'wah to every Tom, Dick and Harry. If a person is adamant in his kufr, don't give him the da'wah, leave him alone. You are throwing silver and gold to the swine. You're wasting your time, and they don't worth a dime. Giving da'wah to a person who is rebellious and not interested in your message, it's haram. You're wasting your time. Giving da'wah to a person who is rebellious and not interested in listening to your message, you are throwing silver and gold to the swine. You are wasting your time, and this person doesn't worth a dime. Allah said in Surah Sabbih Isma Rabbikal A'la, Surah 87, verse 9, فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. Give the admonition if it benefits the person. Allah didn't tell you to give da'wah to every Tom, Dick and Harry. Allah said, فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. Give the admonition if it benefits the person. لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُصَيْتِرٍ. You are not a dictator over them. لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُصَيْتِرٍ. You are not a dictator over them. You were not sent to control your lives. Just let them be. What Allah say? Let them be. Why? Let there be no compulsion in religion. Let there be no compulsion in religion means don't force a kafir to take shahada. Don't force a kafir to take shahada. But as for your Muslim daughter who's a born Muslim, she has to wear the hijab when she reaches puberty. You can't say to your daughter, you are now 12, you are menstruating, you are puberty, but I'm not going to force you to wear hijab because Allah said let there be no compulsion in religion. That's a wrong understanding you have about the deen. Children, you can't give them a choice to practice or not to practice. Let there be no compulsion in religion means don't force a kafir to take shahada. Don't put a gun at the head of the kafir to take shahada. But as for your Muslim kids, they have to practice. The Sahabas didn't give their kids a choice to practice or not to practice. So don't live in Dar Harb and develop a liberal mentality about the deen. I'm not going to force my kids to practice because Allah said let there be no compulsion in religion. That is your wrong understanding of the ayah, your dodgy understanding of the deen. That's why you come up with this rubbish talk. إِلَّا مَنْ تَوَلَّى وَكَفَرَ. Except the one who turns away as a disbeliever. Some people turn away as a disbeliever because of love for the dunya and because they don't want to disappoint their family. They hang on to Judaism or Hinduism or Christianity, and they don't want to lose their job and their status in society. Some of them belong to Freemasonic movements. They can't take shahada. They're Freemasons. They lose their job, lose their status in society. Some people, they turn away because they don't want to be disinherited. So they hang on to kufr. إِلَّا مَنْ تَوَلَّى وَكَفَرَ. The shaitan blackmails you to die a kafir. People reject the message for various reasons. Some out of envy. They don't want to swell the ranks of the Muslims. They don't want to swell the ranks of the Muslims. They reject faith out of envy. فَيُعَذِّبُهُ اللَّهُ الْعَذَابَ الْأَكْبَرِ. Then Allah will punish him with the greatest punishment, which is the hellfire. إِنَّ إِلَيْنَا إِيَّابَهُم. Verily to us they will all return. ثُمَّ إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا حِسَابَهُم. And then for us we will give them the reckoning, the hisab. Some will be given their books in their right hand, some will be given their books in their left hand behind their backs. That is called the hisab. This is the tafsir of Surah Al Ghashiya. I hope I did justice to the tafsir. I cannot take any questions. I have an emergency. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.